A griot was a person in Africa who's charged with keeping the stories of the village.
Use your voice to do something. Going through hard times don't make you weak. I'm praying for y'all city. If you protesting, keep doing what you gotta do to be heard. Seen a video on Facebook that kind of disturbed me. It's because I'm afraid of failing. And we still asking for the simple right to breathe. When somebody only cares about money and they don't care about your life, why do you give them the time of day? You know what I'm saying? I have nothing but love in my heart for everybody. Integrity. Even if nobody's looking, you do the right thing.
I would like to sit down and have a more intimate conversation with you guys. Death is literally the end of life. Time passes us by. Like we have an expiration date. Live by the sword, die by the sword. I wish that the culture of being smart, intelligent would continue being pushed to our kids.
I'm Griot.
When a griot dies, it's like a library was burnt down.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Griot. Welcome back. Today's show, we will be talking about fatherhood. So as you can see, I have a couple guests, a couple fathers. Definitely older than me, but it's okay. So I'll let them introduce themselves.
Not that much older than you. Yo, I'm knocking at the door. I am CP34 from the Pour Up Podcast.
I'm Steve Cash, regular me.
And they call me Mr. Lake, Mike Lake.
All right. I'm glad y'all came to the show today.
Thanks for having
Mike
us.
Lake.
100%.
Yeah.
I got a question. Why are you regular today?
Yeah, why are you regular today?
Because we here to talk about something and
Isn't that serious?
yeah, no, I
We
didn't know
showed up as
as well.
dads,
Yeah,
not
I'm a
pour-up
dad,
hosts.
You know.
I showed up as a Pour Up host because I'm always, a
So
pour-up
the only
host.
thing, you know what I'm saying, not just our fatherhood experiences, we also brought our dad bods on. Mm-hmm. So that's what this also was about.
Absolutely.
You got to come in full form.
100.
Bring mine everywhere.
I definitely respect that, man. I appreciate it. So today, I wanted to get into fatherhood. One, just let everybody know I'm not a father, nor do I have a wife. So
As
if
you
you
know.
would like to, as far as I know, you know what I'm saying. When I go to Japan, if I pass a child that look like me, I don't know. I don't know what I do. I don't know what I do.
They got purple buildings in Japan too, right?
What the hell is
It's a purple building.
The one like we got on Fowler. You know when you go to
He's so stupid.
you just
Not
drop your
that I
kid
know
off.
of.
Don't.
But
It's so
It's a little
stupid.
safety deposit.
You know you
box.
could actually do it at a fire station.
station, yeah.
Fire station. Up until age 17. So you can literally
What?
drop off your kid until 17 at a fire station.
Safe drop-off points.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know
Wait.
that, but I was more so talking about the chop shop.
I know that's what you were talking about. Yeah.
wait, y'all talking about like actually taking like if a woman don't want a child, she drop it off at the fire station?
Up until the age of 17. Yep.
What?
Yeah, they made that as a means to deter people from self-aborting or leaving them in dumpsters and stuff. You could drop it off, no questions asked. And I don't know why we talk about this on this episode.
Well,
But
because it's the fatherhood episode.
All right,
It
going
makes
back
sense to
into
me.
fatherhood. As a father, please don't let your if you make a baby, own up to it, take care of your baby. It's your responsibility as a father.
kind of a cut-in, if you mind, real quick.
Yeah.
Did y'all hear the story about what was it? Some kind of law passed that the male, like the father, has a say in the abortion situation now?
Oh, that's
Where was
definitely
that?
that's probably one of the southern states. Definitely
Arkansas
not.
or something.
That makes
I was gonna
sense.
say so.
Alabama?
As far as what?
So you know
You have to
how
have permission.
yeah, she basically it has to be signed off by both parents, and
So-
I don't know how they would determine that, but if the father
That's
made a
easily
claim,
fixed. She can just
think
be like,
it-
nah, it ain't yours.
No, but I think it has a lot to do with marriage. If you're married
Yeah,
to the
yeah.
person, then
I
the
can see
other
that.
person.
I didn't read the
that's-
full
yeah.
detail, but that's I'm just
Yeah, I think that's an easy step around. For
So
them.
what about
she in size? She in Euro step that.
what if it affects her health? Like if she has the baby, she could possibly pass away.
They don't
I didn't
care.
read the
It's
full-
Arkansas. They don't give a shit. They don't care about the health
man.
as
I didn't read the
anything
full
right now.
detail of the bill, but just I'm imagining not every situation should this apply to, but imagine if you got somebody pregnant and she wanted to abort it, but you wanted to have
You know, that's not even like a new law. Not to hijack your show, but you know that there's places where the woman can be raped, and the rapist has rights to the child.
What?
I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
and that actually might be on the books in Florida.
Damn.
So, anyhow, Griot, sorry we started
No,
off the show
y'all
kinda
good.
a
Hey,
little-
man, keep
a
the
little,
conversation
a
going.
little depressing there, but
like I said, I'm not a father. If I ever do get a woman pregnant, I will take care of my child. But the reason why I have y'all on the show is because, you know, I know y'all positions as fathers, and you know what I'm saying, you guys are great fathers. So I wanted to give a shout out to you and all the good fathers out there, because I don't think fathers get a lot of or enough appreciation that they should be getting.
We don't. Them ties is trash every Father's Day.
Would you say fathers in general, or like black fathers? I feel like we have the negative stigma. Fathers in general probably are not as bad as the society would say black fathers are.
Every time you look, again, Candace Owens, she be trashing black fathers.
What did she say?
She be talking about how black fathers aren't in the household, but when you look at the statistics, a lot of black households do have fathers.
Well, is that also her black father, or just black
Her
fathers
black
in general?
father was in the household, but she, when she flipped over,
She generalizes.
yeah, she generalizes just
She
like a
went
lot
to
of
the
other
light
people.
side.
Oh my God, man! But no, there are a lot of great black fathers, and they're not portrayed like that in the media, on television shows. It's always about the broken household. So I think we need to start uplifting black fathers in our community more than what we do.
You said you don't think black fathers are represented in the media nowadays? I feel like that is the tide has started to change significantly when it comes to
You
black
said
fathers.
starting to change.
I mean, it's starting to change over the last. I mean, how long has Blackish been out? I think that's probably was one of the ones that probably started portraying a black family. Besides, say, the Cosbys back in the 80s. I mean,
Well,
that
no,
was
you had Family
I
Matters.
think we had a
Family
very.
Matters.
I think,
Right,
I think it's
I
been.
think you're
I don't
right.
think anything
Uncle
new.
Phil?
Yeah, it's nothing new
Yeah.
as far as like TV, but when you look at the amount of TV shows where they have black fathers and the amount of TV shows where it's a broken home, there's a large proportion of TV shows where it's a broken home or a child comes from a broken home without a father. Just like what is it, American? That's a true story about.
Oh, American All Star. American.
They like to put shows out.
Oh,
American
you're
Also?
you're talking about All American.
All
All
American. That's
American,
what.
yeah.
But
Well, but see,
It's a true story.
But though, and not to like give away that show though, it turned out to not exactly be that though. There was other things involved with that show.
He had
It was more
turns
complicated
out-
than that.
Right,
Yeah.
it's complicated. Those things do happen. However, I feel like they pinpoint those type of situations more. They like to put in the sympathy card when it comes to a lot of shows. Mm-hmm. That's just how I feel. I don't know if y'all feel the same way, but I see a lot of that. The Cosby shows and those type of shows, they're around and then they disappear.
So a lot of people would say though, and this is not necessarily me, but a lot of people would say that All American is more realistic than say the Cosby Show.
Well, All American's more realistic because
it's a real
Right.
thing.
But you have
Do you think there's more black families that look like the Cosbys, or more black families that look like the what is his name? Spencer something. The James family.
I think there's both.
Equally?
But I just want to see more of the positive highlights.
Okay.
I think that would only be determined on kind of your environment and where you grew up. Because if you grew up in like more so in wherever the James family grew up in Cali or whatever side of over there,
Compton.
it's going to be less. But if you grew up in a more family wherever the Huxtables are from, or wherever you name
Brooklyn.
like they was placed in Brooklyn.
They was
Yeah.
in New York?
Brooklyn.
I did not know that.
I never knew that.
All right, but anyways, well, I'm sure they're more so in the upper part of Brooklyn or whatever.
Yeah, they
side.
definitely had a brown
So
side.
they had a brown side.
Yeah,
So therefore, like, so it's probably more so.
first floor
It probably
entry.
more so makes
Well,
sense.
let's take a survey at just this table. Like, who had a broken home growing up?
Well, I did,
Damn.
That's me and you.
So
but that's not really fair because it's not like I didn't grow up like the. I grew up more so like the James. Me personally, I grew up more like the James did.
Yeah,
Whereas,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that was his point.
but this is the difference is if you ask our offspring, they're growing up more like the Huxtables.
Agreed, 100.
Nowhere near does my son have to do the third of the or a quarter. We've been
Remotely at all.
not even close.
right,
His
like-
lifestyle, my child's lifestyle today at 17 is
Right.
way different than mine was at 17.
100%.
Hell, his at 3 years old
Was way
different
different.
than mine was at 3.
Right.
So he'll never
Your
he'll never know.
presence is
But
the
that's what you're
change.
supposed to do.
Yeah.
You're supposed to lead. You're supposed to pave the way to where your offspring and they don't grow up how you did.
So when you say though that then like the portrayals, are you talking less about like the house being a broken house, or less of it being like an absent father?
I think more so absent father. 'Cause
Okay.
I'll give you an example. Me, you know what I'm saying? My mom raised me. My stepdad was around, but he wasn't. You know, being Army, he was always going. So my mom raised me. He, you know what I'm saying, with the groceries and, you know, having a house over your head, that was there, but his presence wasn't there. You know what I mean? So, and my biological father was in Philly. I ain't talked to him until I was 15. I never met him in person. So, but I had outside figures that were kind of like father figures or mentors.
Yeah.
You know, and I've had that throughout my life, which is very important. So, I know somebody, you know what I'm saying? Well, I know a couple people that's on child support, but they do whatever they can to be in their child life. But the woman or they're
Getting
exes,
friction from her.
Yeah, they're getting friction from them, but they're still attempting to be in their child's life. So I think it's probably better to focus on the fact that black fathers are actually trying to be in their children's life, vice they just left them
I tell you,
something negative.
out of all the, I was a teen parent, and out of everyone I know that was teen parents, like right now off the top, and all my close friends that I know that are parents that are black, not one is a bad father. So that's definitely a
Right, it's
stereotype.
definitely a
and
stereotype.
It's not an accurate one. At
Were
all.
you aware of the
It's an
stereotype?
old stereotype.
But were you aware of the stereotype growing up? Because I didn't really think about it until somebody told a joke once in high school. It was a white kid told a joke, and he said the double jeopardy question. So the guy lost the Jeopardy because he couldn't get the double Jeopardy question, and the question was for the game was, "Who's your daddy?"
Oh.
like so I wanted to be mad, but that was kind of funny. It was kind of funny, but also
Comedically
like
sound, but morally a bit
like
on the edge.
damn, is that how white people think of black fathers?
It is a
But it's not all the time not knowing who your dad is. More so the father just not being there. But
Right.
a lot comes with that also. Being born in the '80s, and if your parent was struck with the crack epidemic or what does it say?
It would be epidemic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying, so if they were hit with that, a lot of our parents fell for that. And when we grow and we've really fully understood exactly what Reagan did, then all they did was fall. They took the cheese. It was designed for it, and they fell for it. Can you really fault them when they fell for what was designed to trap them? And not everybody fell for it, so you could be like, "Well, I didn't fall for it, so why did he?" Well, it was different.
Yeah.
But I can't design this trap specifically for you. It worked out perfectly to my design,
And then I blame
and then you still get blamed for you got trapped.
Well, and I think the difference is if you're talking about crack being introduced to the inner cities or the African American community and how it kind
I
of
speak that because that was my case and my father's case.
I had a crackhead parent. We could talk a whole nother show about that. But I'm just saying in general, crack was introduced to our families. Cocaine was introduced to their family. And I say they in the masses. Cocaine, excuse me, not crack. And it's literally limited resources. Because if you got resources, you can get off crack. If you got resources, you got the people surrounding you, the community that'll get you off. So you got a lot of people, a lot of fathers, a lot of families that were fucked up by cocaine, say in the 80s, that they were able to survive because they had resources. So it's it's kind of funny that's the joke and that's the stereotype that we get, but it's almost this what do we call it? That institutionalized, that systematic oppression stereotype that
Right.
destroys it. Yeah.
It's all systematic. It's 100% fact. And also, as far as getting a black father out of the household, if your parent want assistance, okay, cool. You have to prove your father, a male can be there for you to get on assistance.
Yeah.
So therefore, you have to remove the father, and then shit happens. You automatically. So if depending on where you're from, how you're brought up, and what side of town, and all that, it was almost destined. Almost.
There was
depending
another one
on the
too
situation.
that to piggyback on the back end of the assistance and the the crack era, was the mandatory minimum sentencing in the 90s. Took a lot of males out of the home too. That was kind of on the piggyback of crack because that's what they were selling and
Right. So depending on where you're from,
remove. It's like you said, it's systematic. It was just so many levels to that shit because then you don't have the resources to get off it, and then you also have these other entities or systems adding to it.
It's funny you say that because there's a limit to the amount of people that they need to have in the prison system. So every time one of those inmates leave, they got to bring somebody else in.
Right.
There's a minimum.
Or a minimum. So now think about how many cops patrol our neighborhoods, right? And when you go to nice neighborhoods, you might see one or two.
if even.
But in our neighborhoods, they're
Unless
everywhere.
I'm driving through, I don't see any.
Oh, well.
There's none there unless we're driving through.
Yeah. So and then we usually,
show up. Woo, woo. What the hell?
They checking. Do you live here? You know what I'm saying? Like they do that type of thing. So that again shows the systematic oppression that we have to go through. Like you have a lot of people in prison that haven't done anything and they lock up anyway. Even if it's just for 6 months, they're gonna put them in prison.
You know what happens in just 6 months, even less than that. And within that 6 months, if you're locked up, you're gonna lose your job.
Yeah.
good luck trying to find another one because now you have to
become
now-
unhireable.
now-
That
you know what I'm
question,
saying?
that
It's
one
like,
question
so
on that,
all
yeah.
of these things matter. So if you did have a decent job or whatever you deem decent job, and you can't get that decent job again, you're gonna have to take now a lower paying job more than likely. Now how are you going to continue to support your family?
Yeah.
And honestly, what's next after that? If you wasn't already,
You're on
the
the streets.
streets is back there, and then you got to return back to the streets or go there for the first time and then
Yeah.
repeat. You're gonna
It's a-
get
it's a-
caught,
it's a trap.
and then it's just now it's all over. And that's it.
trap.
Those 6
Also-
months you sat down and took you out.
Also, the 6 months you were sitting down, if you were lucky enough to get such a light sentence, back ended by probation. You designed to fail, and the 6 months you was gone, your child is being influenced by Lord knows what.
Yeah.
Whether it be the streets or whatever.
So-
you losing that time too.
And then going back to fatherhood, just kind of bringing it back home to what you asked us initially, and I'm just thinking in my head, I actually did the math, and I'm thinking about people that I know personally as far as their households with fathers. It's pretty limited. It's like me and you, really. If I think about our close-knit friends.
Fathers
usually-
that weren't around?
Fathers that weren't around, that didn't have their fathers necessarily in their life. It's not that many. And my actual close friend group. And when I think of the people that I know, the masses, like from my old neighborhood, it's a lot more. But that might just be how like minds tend to be drawn together. But I would say nowadays it's not the stereotype is 100% a stereotype nowadays because there are a lot
we
of
blow.
I
We
think it
blow
was
it out the
always,
water.
not even just nowadays. I think always. It's just, but as a kid, again, I can only speak from what I see. If I'm a kid, I can only see in this little window of my neighborhood that I'm seeing. I don't realize there's a whole other world outside of that. That's just in my little project where fatherless here. Go a couple streets over, it's like the fucking sunshine rainbows. Fathers
Right.
throwing ball with the kids in front. But you don't know that.
Yeah, they playing
you don't know
catch.
that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got a couple good fathers. They might play with all the kids. Like, oh, like that's cool. But you don't know, like that's normal to have the father figure there.
Yeah.
That's just because you have that small.
To bring it full circle too, back to the media's portrayal, not just media but TV entertainment. That is also your view too. So like
Right.
what you know in your neighborhood is one thing, but what you also see on TV. So when they do have programming that doesn't exactly show that, or they are few and far between, the Cosbys, Family Matters,
Fresh Prince.
huh?
Fresh
Fresh
Prince.
Prince.
Yeah, Fresh Prince. Those were put there by the people who were in them to make that like, no, look, this is here too. But I'm sure there was a lot of other shows that depicted the other way, or movies, and just given that stereotype of it's a stereotype typical joke to say like, do you know your dad?
Right.
I mean, yeah, I do, but
Yeah.
even
Well,
if I
and that's
didn't,
craay though, because I always knew my dad. It just
Yeah.
like Steve said, it just wasn't.
well, I was just playing
necessarily
into the
in
joke,
my-
but like if your dad, like my dad and my mom divorced at 13, but for the most part, I had the flip of my maybe what you had. Not do I know my dad? But it was, wow, your dad still be around? Like it was almost like
a weird thing.
a weird thing.
Yeah.
And to me, it was like Steve said, it is what you know. But I also, I know my friends. I see what is around me, and I know my situation was unique. But media is going to portray it how they want to portray it. Just like news stories decide to pick the worst picture you can have. Get the one with the
right.
gun.
Yeah.
It's a media spin, and the war. I wouldn't even call it a war, but the slandering of the black household family unit it's been going for a minute.
Oh, wow. A long time.
Man.
I think it's very insane though that we allow. I don't want to say allow, but we have plenty of us that's also working at these news outlets and these different media sources now. I feel like they should be one person will say something and get fired, right? Mm-hmm. But if they don't say anything, there'll never be a change.
Problem though is there's not enough of us that own the media outlets.
Yeah,
That's
It's
very
not
true.
about where we work.
Ownership.
Because I'll throw CNN out there. CNN just gave a couple black anchors some new shows after the election and there's no new president. They don't have to cover as much. They did some shifting around. And a lot of people of color are taking on some new shows during the day and in the prime time. But at the end of the day, they don't necessarily get to choose what they report on. Unless it's an opinion piece. You know what I'm saying? Because they still got bosses, and those bosses got bosses, and those bosses got bosses, and those bosses' last names don't match up to our people.
And furthermore, the main boss, which is the people, they have to report to the majority don't look like us. Like we have specific news catering sources, but the larger masses, the people who are going to buy shit, the consumers, if you will, mostly are white. So
I got a question for you. All right, obviously you're not a father. Do you think you're ready for fatherhood?
No.
Do you think you ever will be?
Yes. I think
I think that why I'm not ready for fatherhood, whoever is really like. Hold on, give me.
Go ahead.
I explain why I said that.
I agree.
If I got a chick pregnant tomorrow, right? Mm-hmm. I'm still gonna have to take care of that baby. So I would do whatever it is I have to do to take care of that baby. I don't think no parent is technically perfect, but you try to be. You know what I mean? Like just looking at how my parents raised me, they did a hell of a job. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I can go back and I can be like, well, this, and this, and I can nitpick, but they did the best that they could. I didn't turn out bad.
Yeah, you're here.
You know what I'm saying? I'm here. So as a parent, your main focus, your main job when you become a parent, especially as a father, is to make sure that everything that's in you, like morally, ethically, all of that, you instill in your child.
Do you rather be a biological father if you did stumble upon one, or a stepfather?
I'm glad you asked that, and that's kind of a big portion of why I wanted to have this show, because I feel like looking at my stepfather, right? Mm-hmm. Like I said, he wasn't there a lot of the time. We do have a lot of issues.
You and your step-pops?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I love him at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I feel like there was more that he could have did. I don't hold him accountable to that. You know what I'm saying? We talk every once in a while. Mm-hmm. But I also look at it and I'll be like, it has to be hard to raise another man's child. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, I'm following because I'm
Well, y'all two can speak on it.
So Steve and I can talk about that. Mike doesn't really have a whole lot of experience in that, but I would say I agree with you. It's a lot easier when the child's other biological father is not in the picture.
Oh yeah.
Which I have the disadvantage of having the biological father in the picture.
that's another thing too, right? Like I said, I didn't figure out who my real pops was until I was 15.
Yeah.
My mom didn't tell me who my pops was until. If you look at my stepdad, you can be like, that's not your father. You know what I'm saying? Like dark country dude. You know what I mean?
Wait, so did you think he was your dad?
I
Yeah.
did.
Mike.
I did.
Oh, okay,
You know
that's
what I'm
crazy.
saying? But
They
when
were
I got
smart.
older, I started thinking about stuff, and I was like,
Wait a minute.
this ain't adding up. People used to tell me when I was a kid, you look just like Henry. We don't look alike.
Well, and
you
so
look like John Henry, and I'm
right, and I would say,
Green Mall
bro. He's an inch taller than me, swole, bald head. Like,
Right.
just,
Did he ever shoot bees out of his mouth?
Nah, bro.
Okay, then.
But yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? So I started asking questions. My mom she told me straight up, she was like, no, your real father, he lives in Philadelphia. I found out I found out part of that history. They was both military. I feel like it's one of them situations where it was like, they were real young. Uh-huh. So my stepdad and my mom knew each other when he was 22 and she was 15.
Right.
Being from Atlanta, they the families was right across the street. They introduced each other. He started courting her when she was young, right?
Right.
So got to an age, they ended up getting married. But not married, they ended up getting together. He joined the military.
That's how it usually went back then.
Yeah.
Back then.
But then apparently my pops popped up in a situation while they was together. They had already had my older brother. Mm-hmm. They ended up splitting. They had me. Mm-hmm. Then they ended up splitting, and she got back with my stepdad.
Understood.
You know what I'm saying? So that history, there was a lot of history there.
So before we get to the stepdad talk, because I did want to circle back to what you said about not being prepared for parenthood. Mm-hmm. I disagree a little bit on that. Because whereas you can never anticipate everything that's going to come up, I would never anticipate that my daughter would take the poo-poo out of her daughter and paint on that shit on the wall. Who the fuck would ever think that shit would ever happen in their entire life? But there...
I would love Steve's response like, it's on par.
Right.
It's been a while, but you remember.
But at the end of the day, I feel like I was prepared to bring a child into the world. And I feel like you can technically be prepared to bring a child into the world. Now, the challenges that are going to come, you're never going to know. But you don't know the challenges that are coming in life in general. So 100%, I think you can be prepared as a parent. But life will give you the zigs and the zags. But I feel like you can do at least the minimum, the let's do this, and I have a little bit more of advantage than say Mike or Steve because they had their kids young. I was 30 when I had my daughter, so and I was 28 when I married shit, 29 when I married Renee and got my stepson. So I kind of had a little bit more of a thought pattern around it as opposed to, and y'all tell me, I don't know, I don't really know how y'all prepared to become fathers as teenagers at all, but.
Well, this is why I said I agree with Griot's point.
Yeah.
That as a young parent, as 19, and we both were 19.
Yeah, I was I turned 19, then my son was born a month after that.
And I was firmly 19. I think I turned 20 right
Your birthday's a month apart? That's dope. I never thought about that.
Yeah, it can.
But with that being said, handing myself that situation, dealing those cards to myself, and his mom, we it wasn't like I was totally unprepared. I had a job, I had insurance. I was able to get her on the insurance, and he was born with health insurance, prenatal care, and all that good stuff. But as a 19-year-old, 20-year-old, I didn't know what the hell was about to happen. And thank God for my support system, my parents, my grandparents, people around me. Steve had his kid 6 months before me. So I had people around me that was able to.
All right, been there and kind of went through it a little bit. Because on my end,
It's always good to have the grandparents there.
I don't know if I'm cutting Mike off, but
you
for
good.
example, like I was the first one to have a kid within our super close circle.
Fact.
Not to yeah, pretty much the very first
out
one.
of us, yeah, hell yeah.
Maybe.
Wait, are you including G-Fam too?
Yeah, that's why I want to exclude names. I want to say them, but maybe.
Steve,
Maybe-
when Mike had his kid, were you a proud grandfather?
Well, listen, I remember when I used to teach. When I used to show Mike how to roll condoms on bananas. So I wanted Mike to be.
You were
right.
disappointed.
I was because he
Little
didn't
bit?
listen to me
Okay.
at all.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
when I raised him, I know a lot of people on your platform don't know, but I did raise him.
He did.
Neither here nor there. We talking about this real quick. But anyways, I was the first
see
one, so
black
I had
and
no
black
one to turn
violence.
to. I had no one to be like, okay, all right, my son is here. Like, how do you do X, Y, Z, or what do you do when I don't know? I'll tell you a story. One of the funniest stories I had, because one of the worst nights I had with my son being like, maybe he was like he was under a year, within 6 months of him being home. Excuse me. All right, we had bottles or whatnot and nipples on the bottle. You gotta clean them off whatnot. I so happened. All right, he wake up in the middle of the night. I was like, I tell his mother, like, I get up, I go to take him out the bassinet, whatever. I go to feed him. We had a bottle warmer, one of the best gifts ever invented. Definitely get your friends a
Amazing.
bottle warmer.
Amazing.
So you
You
gotta
gave me
get
yours, right?
too
Yeah,
far.
absolutely.
Did I give you mine?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, all right, cool.
And I passed it on.
Anyways, so yeah, that bottle warmer is legendary.
It did
But
some
anyways, we'll talk about that later. Anyway, the bottle warmer, great, right by the bed, warm the bottle, whatever. No, I tested on my.
Yeah.
That's the difference. I remember I did not test this one. I remember I had to go to work within literally, like probably within an hour and a half. I got to go to work, but I got my son. You know what I'm saying?
Sleepy newborn
Sleep
parent
as
shit.
hell. I take it out of the bottle warmer. By the way, it's never scorching hot. So actually, you're
Yeah, no, it's never scorching.
It's
bottle
exactly.
warmer.
The plastic always protects it a little
So the
bit.
point of it is, I take it out. I try to give it to him. He grabs his nipple, and he just won't. Then he keeps screaming. He won't drink the milk. I'm like, I don't know what's wrong. His mom wakes up, and I'm saying like what's wrong? He's not drinking this one night. And I'm saying I can't understand why he's not drinking it. Long story short, because this maybe went on about 12 minutes, but 12 minutes when a baby's screaming their head off seems like forever. You know what I'm saying?
Long time.
So yeah. Long story short, it happened to be a defective nipple. The one nipple inside of all the nipple things, it was not cut open for a hole.
Oh, that happens. Yeah, I got that.
And it didn't dawn on me when I came to and whatnot. The fact I never even tested it. So if it was a scorching hot bottle, he would have caught all that smoke.
Did you ever get the defective? I had a defective nipple too.
I knew this story, so I always
Because
checked
I
that.
said it, so maybe he was able to look out
Yeah,
for it.
yeah, I checked-
That's
I
one of the
checked
worst,
on
but that was like within. I never dealt with children other than my everything.
Right.
Everything I did for my son was the very first. I never in my life changed a diaper other than his. That night, that night in the hospital was my very first diaper I ever changed.
Steve was the first grandkid,
Anything-
and
my-
he was the middle child,
my-
so his younger brothers.
So what's crazy though is that y'all two had each other at teens. I had Don when I had Liv, and so I remember him talking about what not to do and certain things that I wouldn't do. And I'm gonna get in trouble if I don't say this. My wife was on point, 100%.
Yeah,
But
your
as
wife had a
for
kid
her
already,
thing,
as you
right?
already
She was good. But what I'm talking about, like being a father and the things to do, because I remember the first night she left me alone with her. She went for her first like girls' night out. She went girls' night out. She pumped. She did everything first. Had a nice little dress on. Went out. Did her mommy thing. And I remember she was gone like 25 minutes. I want to say that I was like. that like pungent smell, because little babies don't normally have bad smelling stuff. But I think Olivia was probably like 9 or so months now, so she's like eating like this formula. There's like a little bit of
transition.
baby food, so there's
Yeah.
actually food in there. So it's like a stinky smell. I get her, she's done blew out her diaper in the damn.
We all
seat.
had it.
I'm holding her like this. I'm like,
You gotta put them in the
I'm
sink
trying
and
to, I'm
wash
trying to put her
everything.
in the bathtub, like putting her off. She's crying. I'm thinking that, oh shit, is the water too fucking hot? Like I'm like, what is going on? And I'm just like, I finally get her cleaned off. I get her all to go. She's just out like this, like passed out. I'm sitting here like, oh my God, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Like, but I mean, somehow, 4.5 years later, I managed to fucking keep her alive and keep her, sound. But that first night probably was one of the most stressful things ever, because Ray left me alone with this little ass baby. I had no idea. I literally, like you, I had no idea. I had cousins, but I ain't never changed no damn diaper. I ain't never handled a baby before in my entire life. So
A lot of calls to my mom in the moment.
Interrupting us.
Anyway, a lot of
wow, y'all, they was making another baby.
a lot of calls to my mother. Hey mom, how you do this? Hey, what this is? We all had the blown out diaper. Ain't nobody to call.
You called your mom, not your dad?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't I?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, if I need to learn some shit or be taught some knowledge or something, I'm gonna holler at pops. But if I need to learn how to do some shit, I'm holler at my mom.
I got you.
But that's just the dynamic of how my parents were. It's like me and Mike's mom with him. If it's something based in emotion, I'm gonna pass it off to her. I say, talk to your mom. Let her fill it out. But if it's something disciplinary or something rigid like that, then it's gonna be handled through me. Parents take on identities. I'm sure you've realized by now, like what your identity is versus what your
I got a
wife's.
quick question, Grill. When you do have kids, first off, you do eventually want to have kids, no?
I do.
Okay. How important is it to you to want to have a boy, or do you want a girl?
See, oh man, please.
I
Don't,
feel like this question's aimed at me because I'm the only one that doesn't have a biological son.
That's the real.
No.
It's aimed at Griot.
Okay.
So I always said that first, I don't know why I want twins. I want a boy and a girl.
Yeah, so you can be
Boy
done.
and a girl twins.
That's
So I
why
can
you
be
want
done,
twins. So you can
right?
be done.
Please, God, give them to him and not me.
No, honestly, if you think about it though, at early, it's a pain in the ass, but you done. You got
Once
a boy
you got
and a girl.
two-
For him, if I have twins right now,
Again,
I'm
hold on. Next, we can come back to
Go
it.
ahead, go ahead.
That's why I'm happy I was a teen parent, which I was going to get into, because you early. Listen, my son finna be 18
That's
in 9
insane.
short months.
When you
Anyways,
say that,
go ahead.
that's crazy. We'll talk about it in a minute.
But mine's will be 17.
I want a son. You know what I'm saying? Like
Teen parents
do,
unite.
I do want a son, and I'm afraid to have a girl.
You think you're going to get thrown in the buck? Like, what's wrong?
Nah, it's like
Jesus.
so. The women in my family are real strong, right? So I don't. They pass on. They're smarter than the males in our family, so they pass on good traits and they're good. You know what I'm saying? But
So you want to breed the stupid genes, is what you're saying?
if he's stupid, I don't have to worry about it. Because we're you know what I'm saying? Like
You don't want-
because
You don't want your little girl thrown in the Boston crab.
I don't want my little girl having to go through the stuff that
women
have to
So-
go through in life. You know what I'm saying? And we got strong genes, so I know
So I'm
either way they make it, but at the same time, I just don't want to have to worry. Like my little sister, like I used to say all the time, man, if somebody, I would kill a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like on some real shit. So I know my daughter.
Used to.
And woo.
so
I heard you say that. Like
I'm gonna speak on this. I'm gonna speak on this because I'm the only one with a daughter. But before I speak on it, you would kill a motherfucker for boy or girl. No, know
absolutely,
that. Know that. You
absolutely.
will literally kill a motherfucker for boy or girl.
But he's talking for
Absolutely.
different situations.
I get what
a
he's
boy and a
saying.
girl could go through the same situation, and you won't kill the boy for the same situation that you might kill over the girl. With.
What I'm
Reaction's
saying is,
totally
when it
different.
comes to anybody hurting your child, your actual
Now we're
child,
talking about her.
Yeah,
Now we're talking about her.
because
No, I'm
that's,
talking about,
that's
I'm
not
talking about
gender
just
specific.
them
That's not
normally-
gender
Yeah,
specific.
that's not gender specific. But I'm talking about
yeah.
normally, like us as kids at a young age, the things that we was doing, I don't want my daughter doing. You know what I'm saying?
so.
Like,
All right, so I try
Not being
not.
thrown in the Boston crab.
yeah.
He finally answered it.
So I try not to think about that type of stuff when it comes
The
to her.
crossface crippler is a mean move.
Man, this dude, man.
Well, that's
So,
WWE move.
so all of y'all have met my daughter, and it goes without saying she
be a
ain't
godparent.
quite normal. in the sense of like she's a girly girl. She likes dolls and all that stuff like that too. But she wears combat boots and she jumps around. She plays and she's very tough, very like literally hurt to the point where I'm like, damn, get off me. I don't want to play with you anymore. I don't want to wrestle. I don't want to tussle. Like chill. Daddy's old and fat. Like leave me alone. Like go chill out. I don't care. Dad bod, right? Let's fucking that.
I'm agreeing with you. I'm backing you up. I'm backing you up.
Anyhow, what I'm saying is that I worry about my daughter constantly because of how the world is to young black women, young black girls. But I know that somehow she got the part of me that's not a dumb fuck idiot. She got that gene in me that's very.
Who has that part between the two? What are you talking about, Claude?
She has
Neither one of you have that part to where she would even gather that part.
What is he asking?
A compliment.
Thank you, I appreciate that. But no, I have a dumb fuck gene. That's in me. I've done stupid shit in my youth. I feel like her though, she's very headstrong, very strong, very independent. If I impart in her my knowledge amongst like I plan on someday teaching her how boys are, how the game is, and all that stuff like that. Yes, and at the end of the day, why are you laughing?
You're the one Never mind. Go ahead.
We're gonna have that discussion. Is what he's trying to say.
Go ahead.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I don't worry about her because I know where she comes from. She's part me and she's part her mama. And her mom is a very strong, independent woman. Right. And I know who my mom is, who raised me. Yeah. And so that part of me, she knows her grandmother. She's going to take that on into her adult life or her teenage life or her young adolescent life. And those types of things, I have comfort in that she's gonna have that, but then I also got to do my due diligence too. I gotta do what I gotta do as a father. Check up, trust but verify type shit. But I don't fear. So I was like you. I wanted a boy. I wanted a boy back. Actually, I told them. I said, "Swear to God, I'm gonna have a boy." Yeah. I was so confident. And when the doctor was like, "Yeah, there's no dick, there's no penis,"
loud wrong.
You're backing that.
You're wrong.
Loud wrong.
Yeah, actually, Steve was there. The doctor was like, "What'd you think, Steve?" He said, "His back was weak."
Mm-hmm. I said is.
Yeah,
I said is.
Whispered it like a murderer.
Back is weak.
Because it was past tense. No, it is, and currently still is.
Steve actually walked in with glasses and a lab coat and said, "May I see that chart, please?" His back is weak.
I got a question for y'all because they got like little rumors how you gonna tell like they say if y'all.
That's bullshit.
Total bullshit. Oh
wow, that is bullshit. That's wives' tales.
Can you even ask first?
No, because I know he's. Go ahead, get it out.
Old wives' tales. Man.
Get it out.
Was it carry low, high?
No. You know they say like if you was a dog, you gonna have a daughter.
Oh well, yeah, that's true.
That seems to track, except it doesn't.
Were you a dog back then?
That nigga almost barked.
I never.
He did. He almost did.
Remember was it the wood when he smelled his breath and the dog barked in the background? Anyway, yeah. I think most people who have, if we're just tracking through our friend group, the group chat, most of the guys who had babies later, majority of them had daughters. A few of us that had them earlier, we all got sons. And I say we all. I think is it just us two?
Within our group chat?
That has boys?
No, our boy has a light skinned dude has a.
He did too.
He has a son.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like that's what they say. I think for the most part it kind of tracks. But
Griot,
in real life, science it's
science. It's genetics, but God has a sense of humor.
At a certain point.
God has a sense of humor.
Nigga, I ain't never.
So I almost had two scares where I almost.
And let's be real, these two motherfuckers ain't necessarily done having kids. So let's be real.
I am done having
or whatever.
kids.
You got a vasectomy?
I'm 17 years sober.
These two motherfuckers may not actually be done having kids.
I know you're wishing that on us.
I'm not wishing that till you do right by me.
I'm 17 years sober. I'm no longer 18, 17. I know what to do.
Every time you gonna pump,
I know what to do.
Little chip.
I know what to do to have kids. I know what to do to prevent kids. I'm 17 years sober.
Show our numbers is lower than yours.
I'm 17 years sober.
All I'm saying is that things happen.
And
miracles can happen to you.
You know what I'm really afraid of? Having a child with the wrong woman.
Oh, that's no.
You should be.
That's my biggest
deadly afraid of that.
And that's people talk to me.
Wait. Before you get into that though, can you clarify what that means though? What you mean the wrong woman?
When you meet a woman, you know what I'm saying?
Are you married? Are you not married? Are you just smashing?
You can have a baby.
I'm just going off.
I'm talking about the kid that you're having with.
If I meet a chick and we're not married and I'm feeling her and we good, I might shoot the club up on purpose. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, just be honest.
I thought about it once. You know what I'm saying?
Don't do that in the States because you're not the real, you're not the daddy in this state.
But
You
you
gotta
know
work
what I'm
for
saying?
that
Like
shit.
I be thinking like, what if I meet a chick and she cool, right? And then you shoot the club of a completely different person. 'Cause I see that a lot too.
Oh, it happens.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I see that a lot too. That's what I'm afraid of, getting caught.
It's never happened to me, but at the end of the day, that shit does happen.
I know that's the worst fear, because
Do you trust yourself?
Isn't it always the right person if you don't end up with that person? That should be considered.
That's true.
Unless
That's
unless
very sage advice.
unless you had like a deal, like you come together with someone like, hey, look, let's create a child together. And because I know a lesbian that actually had that deal with one of her guy friends. They literally had a child. They did that for the child to create, and they both, and it's all good between them.
Yeah,
but
that's common. Yeah, I've heard that. That's actually kind of common.
it probably
More
is. I
common
don't know.
than
I
actually
only know one person that did it, and it worked for them.
We
or whatever.
actually know a guy. We'll talk off air about it.
But I'm just saying, isn't it always the wrong person if it doesn't end how you expect it to end? Like for me,
I don't believe that.
Example for me is if I ever have another kid, which I highly doubt I will, but if I do, I need to be married for. It need to be my wife. I have one baby mama. I will not do it again.
Ain't got no baby
And
mama.
we're very cordial. I am fortunate enough to where I'm very cordial with mine. We get along. We're good. There's no back and forth for anything of that nature. You know what I'm saying? We have a child together. That's where it starts and stops. Also, it was 15 years working. My child is 17 now, but it's 15 years working toward this stage, toward that stage. You know what I'm saying? So we're good. And I understand not many people are also in that same boat. You know what I'm saying? But also, when you say things like we're not done having kids yet because we don't have a procedure done, you are correct. We do not have a procedure done. But I'm 17 years sober of children. So I
Where there's a will, there's a way, my homie. And all I'm saying is that you ain't done until you done.
They say
Again,
you can shoot up the club with a vasectomy too.
being
Because where there's a will, there's a way.
Don't try to no. Till you do right by me, everything can happen.
You're not gonna put.
I'm gonna
You're not gonna
curse on
put no
you.
baby.
No, I get shut up. Well, hold on though. So what Steve is saying is 100% true. I agree with you 100% what you're saying, and right. You know what I'm saying? Like you're an adult and you've managed somehow, not somehow. Sorry, homie, that's stupid.
I'm no longer a kid. I'm no longer a child.
So that came out wrong. I also managed to not have a child from age 19 when I started smashing to I was 30 when I had my first child. That was intentional.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people can and do that. But going back to what you were saying though about I lost my train of thought about what were you saying? I'm sorry. I lost the question about
like having a child with the wrong chick.
I was intentional about that. I was a young man. I've dated, probably seriously dated, maybe 4 or 5 women in my whole entire life. And the last one I married and had a kid with. I was very intentional about that. I did not want to actually have a child because my parents had me out of wedlock. I didn't want that. I wanted my child to have 2 parents together, same last name, 2 parents with the same last name. Like I wanted shit to work right. And I was very intentional about who I had made a baby with. So when I hear you say things like, hey, I'm vibing with a chick, I'm gonna shoot up the club with her, I think it needs to be a little bit more calculated than that. Don't just shoot up the club with any female that you vibe with, because there's a lot of females you'll vibe with that don't necessarily need to be your child's mother.
But that's why I haven't done that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, don't.
But you know what I'm saying?
But there's a difference than a girl that you vibe with that you shoot up with and a girl that you would actually make Mrs. Griot.
The fact of the matter is, too, that is a good point, and I'm not. This isn't a counterpoint to your point. It's an additional point that might disagree.
That's a counterpoint.
It's not a counterpoint. Let me tell you why. Because while that is also true, this is also true. They parallel true.
2 things can be true.
Yeah,
That's
2 things
true.
can be true. So you could be with someone who is the one. Divorces happen every day.
Absolutely.
People are the one at the time. Like I said, my parents got divorced at 13.
True.
My parents loved each other from 84 when they met to whatever year, 13 years later.
When did your mom meet me?
Shut up. And
When did she meet me? It's just a question.
Before you finish this
99,
story,
2000.
Okay,
before you finish the story, remember how Steve always talks about being a time traveler?
Yeah.
I'm really starting
You
to think
think
now
this
he might
motherfucker
actually
made
be
me?
your dad.
How
I don't
the
know.
fuck?
He talks about being
How
a time.
could
He
5'2"
predicted the
and
score.
5'1"
He
make me?
predicted the Super Bowl.
I'm
just
3
saying.
times bigger than him.
I don't know, man.
I'm 7
Just
shades
saying.
darker than him.
He always says he's a time traveler. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
You let them trick you into dissing
My,
me, man.
my
I'm
man,
sad,
my man's
son.
5'2", my mom's 5'1". There's no way
Damn,
they
son.
produced a regular sized child both being midgets.
You said you was a regular sized child.
Yeah, it's called.
Listen, y'all turn it. What y'all doing? Listen, y'all both.
You say he's a regular sized
Y'all
child.
flipping it. Y'all
Go ahead, finish this story. This ain't the pour up. This ain't the pour. This is
Back to the
Griot's
point.
word.
Basically, people like my parents were married. They divorced. They're still the best of friends. They hang out all the time. They talk all the time. And you could still love somebody and it not be the person for you in marriage, and that doesn't make them a bad parent, because in terms of parenting, y'all both still going forward as co-parents. Me and my son's mother were best friends in high school. We never quite married, but it was on the books. It didn't quite work out that way, but we both still actively co-parent.
What does on the books mean?
It was in the process at the time.
Oh, okay.
It was
I
something.
didn't know that.
It was something that we were working toward.
Mike was damn near married.
I would have proposed, but things changed after the birth, which is a different conversation. If this convo is about fatherhood, I guess that's a convo we can have too. But postpartum depression is real, and it's straining on the other person that has to deal with it, especially when in 2005 it's not a commonly conversational thing like it is today.
And also, you were very, very, very young.
Very young, didn't know what it was. It wasn't something that was talked about. I remember being handed pamphlets and just being so overwhelmed with Mike that I couldn't focus on her. Long story short, it didn't work out. But I'm just saying that somebody could be the one, and you could make a Mrs. Griot, and then it still not work out. But that doesn't mean just be reckless with
But
you.
I think us.
Like I said, look, I'm not saying
That's
being
why I said it's not a
reckless.
counterpoint.
I get, but I think
parallel
us knowing him and each other in the circles
was
that
gonna
we
do
in, I
that.
feel like for you to know if you're gonna shoot up the club, you're also gonna buy the club. If I know you, if you're willing to shoot up the club and have a kid with that, you're probably gonna also buy the club.
Nigga, no.
I'm just saying.
That ain't
I've
true.
had drunk nights.
No, what I'm saying though is I'm just saying, what's the value of shooting up the club if it ain't also somebody that you would willing to attach yourself to? Because you are literally going to attach yourself to somebody
being
for a
people have
lifetime.
babies.
Sometimes
hold on,
only
let's
the good
take-
that's gonna come is that
take
good
that-
when you
hold
come
on.
in.
People have babies from people they don't
I
know
get
all
what
the
you're saying, but what I'm actually saying
yay.
for Griot, us giving fatherly advice to him is if you're willing to shoot up the club, why are you also not willing to buy the club?
So the only reason I brought that up is because I've had a moment.
We all have, I'm sure.
You know what I'm saying? Where
Niggas
it
ain't
was
finna stay in
like,
front.
I'm going front.
You know what I'm saying? The pull-out game ain't
no,
always
ain't
strong
nothing I
as
would
people
never.
say it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you know what I'm saying? Like, I've had 2 close calls, right?
Oh yeah, that.
You know what I mean? That's what I was talking to.
Oh, you got real quiet. You didn't even know what he was
You know,
talking about.
you know what I mean? Like, so it's you know, there are those moments in a young fella's life where it's like,
Fella.
you know what I mean? Like, I'm not that young fella no more. But at one point, I've had 2
Yeah,
close
when you
calls,
young, you live and you
and
do.
I lived and I learned.
But it wasn't more. It
Was
was
a
a.
pregnancy test, close call, late period.
One was an abortion, the other one was a pregnancy test.
I didn't mean
So,
to make you
yeah.
answer it.
But
like
was
that,
it? Is it
No,
more?
no, no. I
Thank you
mean,
for sharing. No.
But is it more on the lines of, okay, cool, I'm going through the process of finding out if she is pregnant,
He just told you. the
and
truth.
hold on. I get. Let me
He
finish.
had
what
this
I'm saying.
question first.
Hold on. I'm going through the process of finding out if there is a baby, and I'm comfortable if there is a baby, less than I'm in. Because I'm thinking more. For me, it was I made a baby intentionally. I wanted a baby that was with the person that I intentionally married. There was no accident. There was no happenstance. There was no.
He just told you he don't change diapers. He changed drop tops. He went to the chop shop. He just told you. He
I
went to the
didn't go
chop shop.
nowhere. I got told it.
And my
So it wasn't on you. So it wasn't on you. So it.
But,
never.
it wasn't on
asked,
me, it was her
but
decision.
you
It was her
asked the
choice.
question of though I feel like the question was more on the lines of do I have to actually be married to the person to have a kid? I feel like that was the original question that we got to was that, hey, I don't necessarily am going to marry this person, but I'm comfortable knocking this person up, and I'm not giving a counterpoint to that. What I'm just saying to you is that explain to me. Like, yeah, we've all had close calls. I'll admit, 100%. We've all had close
Are you
calls.
asking the status of the female? Where were y'all when this happened? Is that what you're asking?
No,
Where
but
were you in the female status when?
No, what I'm asking is that you're okay knocking her up, which means you're comfortable with having the baby. That doesn't necessarily mean you're comfortable with having a
At that-
baby and being with that girl forever.
Yeah, in that moment, it was just one of those things where you're drunk and shit is happening. You're overseas. I'm in fucking Japan. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, dang.
To
Like,
me,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah. So to me, you're more comfortable having the baby, which is a
It
different
wasn't
story.
even the fact that I was comfortable having a baby. It was
was a
just
situation.
In that situation, it was like,
Where were you, by the
I'm
way?
not about to pull out.
You was in Japan.
Yeah. It was like I'm not about to pull out.
Let-
you know what I'm saying? So drunk me
So it had
was
nothing
like
to do with OnlyFans. You was all about OnlyPans.
you funny.
No, man, come on.
So let me ask this though: if she would have been like, "Well, so my family
she would've
says you
kept
have
it-
to marry me if I keep this baby," would you have married her?
I don't know. I can't speak for young
past.
Griot
Yeah.
then. I can speak for me right now.
Speak for you right now,
thing,
then.
the smart thing right now is the saying that people have is it's cheaper to keep her, right?
Nah.
No, the people actually do say that, by the way. But and then in another sense,
You disagree with the saying, or you disagree it's not
I
saying?
disagree that it's not cheaper to keep her.
What? Speak on your marriage, bro.
No, I'm just. No. But again, don't try to lump me into that. I was very intentional with my marriage and then having a kid. It's not the same thing.
yeah, but you got a
What
lot
I'm
of people.
saying is that
It's expensive too.
you don't have to marry somebody because you knocked them up. You do have to be a father
I also,
if she chooses to keep the child because that is her choice.
that's what I was agreeing to.
Right.
You don't have to marry her, is what I was saying. So
Oh, absolutely
had she
not.
got pregnant, I would have took care of my child. I wouldn't have just married her just because. I also might have married her because she got pregnant and tried to make it work.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Like, I could have married her, and then it could have been another situation where it's like, oh, this young man's going to get a divorce within 3 years. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like it would have been better to just raise your child than to maybe have
But
a. Get
it's not
married
always
and
that
go through
simple
all that.
because say you get a chick pregnant, right?
Uh-huh.
And she doesn't want you around. Say y'all have a bad falling out. You're not always going to be
And
around.
if you're in the state of Florida,
They're taking money.
You are highly at disadvantage if you have a kid if you're not married to.
Well,
the girl,
this was
so.
an American that was coming back to the States, so I would have been
You
highly
would've been.
disadvantaged.
Yeah, you
regardless.
would have been.
So, you know what I mean? Like, you never know. The situations are always so complex. I could easily be like,
It's just a Rubik's cube.
right. I could easily be like, I want to marry this chick.
And she-
Get her pregnant, or I want to marry this chick. We get married.
Uh-huh.
First year in, she gets pregnant, right? 2 years after living with each other, oh, this ain't gonna work. Either she cheat, I cheat, something goes wrong. Do we get divorced? Most divorces are not good divorces. Next thing you know, oh, you got to be on child support. You know what I'm saying?
Can I make it even worse? Say you decide to tough it out for 2 more years. At that point, now you're at 4. She's entitled to half of whatever you own.
See what you're saying? And that's another point I wanted to bring up because me and somebody was talking about this, right? I also, do I want to get married one day? Yes, it sounds nice. You know what I'm saying? I was also reading, y'all know I've been reading the book 5 Love Languages, right? And it goes into the aspect of there's a romantic phase that you go through. After that, usually 2 years after that romantic phase, you start actually seeing the person you're with. So for most people, there's a lot of people that jump into relationships after a year. They usually get married. You know what I'm saying? And then there's some people that's been in relationships for 5-7 years. They know who they're with. So it's
He definitely signals you out a little bit, though.
no. You know, I'm
fucking with you.
I was looking for
You're right. That
agreements.
is the situation.
You know, so it's crazy because if you get married, right, and you don't know who you're with, or you haven't lived together for at least 2-3 years, and then you end up getting married, that falling out is usually not going to be a good one. Especially if you bring a child into this world, then it's even worse for you as a man. Marriage is mostly, to me, I feel like marriage is mostly meant for the woman.
So
Am I wrong or right?
I would say.
That's how I feel
I would
today,
say.
right
So
now.
I'm going to counter that question with another question real quick, and then I'll answer that. But do y'all think that the laws in general need to be amended to be more inclusive of both the man and the woman?
I feel like, me personally, I feel like that majority of our laws are focused more towards the men. If you pay child support, y'all was just talking about J-Lo,
In a
right?
negative way towards men.
Or who was the
Halle
female?
Halle Berry.
All right, so Halle there's a female getting a taste of what men have to go through. And
But that's
what
only
did she
because
say?
she's rich.
But
And
she's
he's a whack ass bucket.
she's still getting a taste of what men have to go through.
Right,
The
right.
average man that doesn't even make enough income to really support himself, they're still giving half of what they have to that woman and that child.
Right.
I do have a question, just to kind of reel it back in, because you wanted us on because you wanted fathers on your show,
Right.
You wanted then probably specifically black fathers.
Yeah.
Is there any certain advice you was looking for? Was it something like what was your gain?
No,
Or
this is
personally, if hopefully you got some advice from us, but
Yeah.
what specifically was your gain from this?
just having black fathers on the show, man.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's something that needs to be talked about more.
Facts.
We do exist.
I-
That's
am
what
I-
you want to show your.
Yes, that's what I want.
We are. We're like the Eminem
Do
commercial.
you think
They
I'm-
do
Do you think I'm
exist.
portraying that, or do you think it's not? Do you think that I'm bringing that to the table or not?
Oh, with this?
Yeah,
Absol-
with this
absolutely.
group?
'Cause
Yeah,
for-
hell yeah.
For one, you not being a father at all, you brought 3 on. You brought 3 great ones on.
I had
And-
one with a
and- but it
daughter.
was-
I had 2 with sons.
You know what's crazy? It's 3 great ones that are very different. We don't probably raise our children the same either, but we're still great fathers.
'Cause our starting
And
point was
we
different
happen to
too.
also be black.
Yes.
Right.
And,
'Cause
and start points really does matter.
Yeah, major.
And it definitely goes. It, goes
it,
back.
It matters to how we parent our kids.
Right, and I go back to again when I said that I lived like out of all the stereotypes of black fathers not being there, whatever the case is, out of all my close friends that I have, and black, not one. I don't know not one
Not
deadbeat black father.
Nor-
I
nor
don't
will
know
we
not
accept it.
one.
We
Can I ask
wouldn't
a question though?
accept
Do y'all know some deadbeats of another race?
I don't know any deadbeat.
I don't.
Oh,
I do.
well,
I do.
all right, that would all right. That listen, they not my people, so I don't give a shit. Like they not
Correct.
my,
Correct.
they not
I'm just
within-
saying, just for numbers.
They wouldn't be
and
my homies and
statistics.
so they wouldn't be my friends.
right.
They wouldn't be
That's
my
what I was
friends.
gonna say. I wouldn't
Right.
accept
I
it.
don't-
This shit
I
wouldn't be
don't deal
cool.
with
Right.
It would be
deadbeat fathers.
it would be a problem on a different kind of level because while my father was there, I'm there. My homies is there for their fathers.
I was
know-
there for you too.
Shut your ass up.
Don't.
I know some.
Stop leaving me out of your life whenever you talk about your
I'm about
fathers.
to choke
nigga.
you out, bro. I know some of my friends' fathers weren't there, and I know we got friends who've been adopted. We got all different
You gonna choke your
situations.
pops out? That's crazy.
But we wouldn't allow that kind of weakness. Not
Yeah,
only in
it's-
our circle, in our vicinity.
It's not okay.
And I will say, so kudos to you. So if you ever do decide to have a child, when that does happen, you do have a circle around you.
Oh
Because
yeah, I'm calling y'all. Look,
well,
bro.
because I,
you are
And-
you are.
I'm not gonna lie.
and-
I'm a liar if I said I didn't benefit
I don't
from
know
them
about
from them
babysitting,
to.
but
Listen,
yeah.
You need a.
Oh, I'm not babysitting.
Chat line, I got you.
That's not happening.
Hopefully you have hopefully you have what you want, which is a boy and a girl. So hopefully you get those twins.
I already got the names picked out. Ain't
Twin,
that crazy?
twin half black, half Japanese kids.
I don't, honestly,
Little
I
half black ninjas.
don't know.
Nah,
man.
I ain't babysitting no ninjas.
Oh, wow.
No, thank you. It ain't happening.
I don't know if I want to play around with this shit.
I know when I do have kids, I want to be a great father. You know what I'm saying?
And at the end of the day, you're never, in my opinion, coming from a teen parent, because it's not like you're prep when you're a teen parent. All my friends was out partying, having fun, while my ass was feeding little Steven.
But do you know what your reward is?
We wasn't.
My,
I'm
I
now
wasn't
trying
there.
to be in with my little one, and
You know what my
get to
reward
go out
is?
and do whatever you want because he's about to be 18. That's your reward for being
we
a
about to- we
great
about to all be
young
going out together.
parent.
And
you know?
again, and I told them I've been talking about it for the probably the past like 9
Since
years.
last year. Oh, yeah.
Anyway, point of it is,
It's been a countdown. if
I'm
y'all don't know.
celebrating. I text my son every time a month flip over. I let him know how much more time we got. I'd let him know, and he's aware of it. We laughed about it all the damn time. By the way, I believe what sparked this was last week when we was talking about things we talk about with our
Yeah.
kids personally.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I do talk about my son. I do talk to him about like sex and things of that nature. Because honestly, like he's only within a year of where
You had
I
him.
was to where he can slip up.
yeah.
Man,
You know what I'm
that's
saying?
Right there.
But we speak about that often and all the time and frequent. You know what I'm saying? Because you need to. But also he's very well aware of the situation, and he told me out of his own mouth, he's like, "Damn, I'm like terrified of a kid." I'm like, "Why are you terrified?" He says, "Well, because between you always talking to me and mom talking to me, I kind of just want to like, and I have things in life I want to do, and I think it's going to hinder it." I was like, "You're right, son, because you ruined you ruined mine a lot. I would have been somewhere else." But that's the
dope,
difference.
though.
Let me
Yeah,
say,
that's
let me say, that's our relationship.
Yeah, they
After
got a
I said that,
playful
he
relationship.
died laughing. We both busted
Yeah.
because he. At the end of the day, I will never take my son back, no matter what it is.
But
You know
not
what I'm saying?
even-
But that's our relationship to where we joke back and forth. We died laughing. But the facts of it is, I'm glad he has that fear. And it maybe not to say it should be a fear, but fuck that.
No, yes, it should
Nobody should be having. You should not be
No,
having
you're
a kid
right.
at a team.
My mom always said, if you have a
me finish
kid,
real
I
quick,
will
Clark.
not take care of it. And
Well,
so
that's-
that fear is
that's-
legit.
Well, maybe not take care of it, but I hope she would assist you.
No, she said you on your fucking own.
No, my mom said the
let me-
exact same thing.
all right, well, that's fine. We can get right
ahead,
back
go
in
ahead,
that.
go
Let me
ahead,
finish
go
this real quick. I'm glad he has that fear, as he calls it, because at the end of the day, that's part of the reason I never had one, because I understand if he does have one, I'm going to need to help him, because I'm not going to turn my back on him. He's not going to be by himself. I might, if I ever did tell him that, which I probably wouldn't, but if I did, I'm friend. My son wouldn't be on his own.
So-
It's going to be
Yeah,
me and him in
it's
the
a scare
trenches.
tactic,
I want to help
right,
him
not
take.
an actual
I will
plan.
help him take care of my grandchild. Will I be
Absolutely.
disappointed in him? Yes, because I told him. I've been telling him. So you had all the knowledge to not follow my footsteps as far as that part goes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So will I be disappointed? Sure, but will I be there for him? Yeah. There's no on his own.
Rest
I will be
assured,
there
if
with
I
him.
actually if I got a girl pregnant at a young age, my mom will 100% step up to help the child. me as an individual be like, get a job, you need to do what you need to do. It was my mom is harder on me now at 30, doing great with my life. I do fine. I've done everything I feel like I should have done right in life, and she's still harder on me because that's just the type of mom I had. I had a hard mom that was like, I want better things for you in life, and these are certain criteria that you need to do. And having a kid is going to make your life harder. It ain't going to make it impossible.
She cool with you getting pegged?
But it ain't gonna make your life impossible.
You're not gonna answer the man's question?
No, I'm not answering that question because it's so absurd.
So she must not
But
know.
where my mom always grew up telling me, hey, don't get a girl knocked up. Don't get a girl knocked up. And the scare tactic was, because I ain't going to help you. You're going to be by yourself. Obviously, I knew she would do everything. If the kid needed diapers, she would get the kid diapers. If the kid needed food, the kid would get food. But she's telling it, but it was more of a line of be responsible and take care of yourself. And so that you don't have to have that. And my mom always taught me life can either, she's like, she doesn't like saying right or wrong. So I've always learned harder and easier, not right and wrong, because who's to say what is right and wrong? But what I can tell you 100%, having a kid as a teenager is definitely harder than having a kid at 30. And I can tell you right now, I never went through the things that they had to go through. And I've kind of benefited from their experience as being an not older father, but a father that had a kid later on in life. So that sage advice from her is what I will pass down to my children. But kudos, though, to Steve and Mike, though, for literally, that's what I always say, your reward for being a father that was there, for not being a stereotypical black father and doing the damn thing, your reward is that literally your kids are now, and y'all are still young, and your kids are done. Now, y'all may end up having more kids. I'm not wishing that on you. Who knows?
You're literally wishing it.
You
That's
want
the
us
third time
to
you brought
have-
it up.
Yeah, I'm about to say this.
The third time you brought it up.
You want
I'm
us to
not
have
wishing
kids.
it, but I'm just flipping coins into the fountain, bastard.
Go ahead.
Where Steve was going with his point was that it's a conversation that he has with his kid frequently, because ultimately where we are in the age gap, when he hits 18, the countdown is real. We having a party. I partied with my dad at my 8, and when I turned 18,
We sure did.
no, I partied with my father, Thomas Lake. And Steve, we gonna
So I
party
was
with
there party with you when you turned 18?
when I turned 18.
Were we not-
we did do some shit.
were we not together
But I
when you
was-
turned 18?
I was with my dad.
Were we all not together?
No, we weren't. Wait, were you there?
You don't remember smoke machines when you don't remember all that?
Oh, my surprise birthday.
Oh, yeah, you're welcome.
That wasn't 18.
I
like
was there
20.
for that one, too.
I was
You're
20.
welcome.
That was
I
20.
was there for all of them.
That
You're
was
welcome.
20. Fuck you. But
I told you how to read, nigga.
when
You
little,
started to respect me. I told you how to read.
I read better than you. When little Steve,
You're welcome. I told you guys. You're
little
happy when you're
Steve, when he hit 18, we having a party. And when little Mike hit 18 a year later, we having another
have
party.
another one.
And then 2 years on, Nicholas.
And when Nicholas hit his joint, we having another party.
Yeah.
And we gonna keep doing this because getting a young male to 18 is a feat.
Getting a young, but you can say it. My son is not black, but getting a young black man to 18 is a feat.
But even males, because
100%.
we know they ain't the
I
smartest
would-
individuals.
oh, yeah, they
Griot
dumb as
alluded
fuck.
to the area earlier. Getting-
Females have more common sense than males. Like when
100%.
we were coming up, all the females around us had more common
Well, they
sense.
mature
We
faster.
do.
It
It depends on how
dumb
you were
shit.
raised. I got all kinds of common sense, but that's because my mom literally. beat
I
me.
had common sense too, but we still did dumb
I still
shit.
ride with
you also
females.
weren't
Females
around
definitely got it
women.
more than males.
I agree. I agree 100%.
That you weren't around women,
No, I agree that really. I agree that females do have more common sense.
but they mature faster.
100%.
Women at 18 are mature. Men at 18 might do some
dumb as
shit.
fuck. Yeah.
We shooting nail guns at each other to see what happens. Dumb shit.
I ain't do that. Y'all think I was doing that?
We have an ice fight.
What the hell you
ever
got
had-
a nail gun?
Yep. My dad had mad tools.
Listen,
You had tools?
sometimes
Steve's
father,
not my dad.
Father,
You had tools?
You're not my dad. No, you ever had an ice fight?
Yeah.
Yeah. Dumb
I
shit.
had a cold ice fight. The dry ice fight.
Yeah.
That was dope. Yeah.
Dumb shit.
Yeah.
You think women doing that?
Nah, probably
No.
not. Griot, what else you got? You got anything else for us? You wrap it up?
What is
Wrap it up.
What is it
I
that
don't even know what
y'all?
that is.
Oh, as
that's how you
fathers,
stay out
what
of
is the
fatherhood.
one thing that you want to pass down to your child?
Oh, that's
before
a
you
great
go?
question.
And I'm asking this for people that don't know. My mom passed away. Rest in peace to my mom. But I feel like she passed everything that she had down to me. And every day I think about it, I be like, yo, I'm proud that I'm her son. You know what I'm saying? She gave me everything, her heart, everything that she had. And I use it as I progress through life, which is why I talk about the stuff I talk about. So what is it that you, as a father, want to pass down to your child before you go?
for me, to be honest with you, I feel like I already did it, which is to be yourself. Be yourself. Chase your dreams. Be original. No matter what. At the end of the day, as long as you are yourself and you are happy, you made it, son. Congrats. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of him no matter what he does. And as long as I have breath in my body, I will support and be there for him 1,000%. As long as there's breath in my body, I got you.
And even after, through what you teach them.
Like,
Which is to my point. Knowledge is key. My grandfather he went to BCC. He was a teacher, retired from that, and he taught me a lot. And taught my dad a lot. My dad still teaches me to this day. Shut up. Legitimately,
good for you.
Legitimately called my father, and still got questions, and he still got answers.
He's got answers for me.
Smartest man I ever met on the planet, and I try my best to do my best rendition of him, and I try to pass that on to my son. And
Yeah, Joe's side, not trying to be funny at all, but jumping on Mr. Lake, I really do fuck with him. Like he really does have a lot of knowledge. He answered questions I have had even.
Kind of the group father, not no lie, because I'd be hitting him up. Now I don't hit him up like texting him, but if I see him, I'm
It's a lot different when you meet him when you're 14, 15 versus in adult life. I'm just being honest.
Don't diminish my relationship with Mr. Lake. Why are you diminishing my Lake?
I'm not. I'm sorry. I'm sorry he still follows you after 30, Claude. I'm sorry. But anyways, listen.
It's not exclusive to y'all too. My dad.
But you get what I'm saying, because I'm like, it's so like away from jokes. Yeah, facts. Like Mr. Lake, which is Mike. I call that's Mr. Lake. He's just Mike.
Yeah.
He really has a lot of knowledge, and he definitely passes it down. He doesn't mind sharing. Just talk to him.
Sometimes to an excess.
To an excess,
which is where
Mr. Lake would go in.
Which is where I get it from.
We set up. So did you do that? Did you do that? Yes, we're good.
Sometimes you ask me a question, I got a 2-hour lecture to tell you about it, and if you're a youth, then you got to sit there and take it.
Oh, so
I've seen him lecture neighborhood kids. I've seen it 1,000 times, and I've lived it.
Quick funny story about that before I give mine is that so he watched an episode of the Pour Up that we all hosted. Of course, y'all know that, and he saw our flooring, and he's like, you don't need to get the flooring is not good. You don't need to get the flooring and then the shot. So you know what happened? Literally 2 months later, hardwood floors. So I can't have him dissing me like that.
Salute to you still being influenced after 30.
Shut up.
If nothing else, to my son, he knows this. I talk to him all the time about it. Knowledge is key.
That's why you didn't have a son, because you can't pass down. Anyway,
knowledge is key. I got it from my dad, who got it from his dad, and I pass it on to my son. And if you can learn it, if you can find it in a book, if you can find it online, then you can solve it. You can fix any problem you come across.
You're welcome.
So this is something that I this is something that I developed in life. I learned like, kind of later in life. My mom or my father, because we don't have that relationship, never taught me. It's something I learned online, almost inspired by God. I'll throw it out there, and it was pretty simple. That there's nothing right in life that you can do as a human being on this earth, a right thing, a truly right thing that feels 100% right, that anybody can judge you for, that you should feel wrong for. So if it's right and it's good and you're doing right, good things, even if somebody else doesn't necessarily agree with it, if it's true, right, and good and just, there ain't nothing they can judge you about. Do the damn thing and move on with your life.
That means shoot up the club.
No,
that's
right is right.
He not talking.
It don't mean that.
That's what I took from it.
I'm glad I could father you once.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, there you go. Now I'm your dad. So I'm your great grandfather, sir. I'm your grandfather.
I just want you to. I just want you to be father for once.
I'll be your grandfather.
Benjamin
Thank
Mike,
you.
I told him I just want him to be father for once.
Griot, can I ask you, so before you, because I think you trying to close out the show? Before you close out the show, why don't you tell us and the fans, while we clowning real quick, what do you want to tell your kids? Something that right now that you know in this moment. Anything that you can tell your future kids. Talk to your future kids.
Talk to your nuts.
No, you actually gotta look down at your nuts.
Talk that shit to your nuts.
No, man. If I had kids, I would tell my kids that, you know what I'm saying, as a parent, one, I'm not perfect. And then two, when you know better, you do better and you strive to do better. So throughout your life, I want to give you all my lessons, and if you listen to them, I'm happy. If you don't, I hope you learn from it, and you know what I'm saying, I hope you use that to motivate yourself to do better. I want to see y'all do great things. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, I want to make sure that my kids are straight and then they have everything that they need. Generational health, wealth, good health. I would want them to start families later on, and I would like them to pass on the genes and just go out in the world and do great things. That's what I would want to tell my kids. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, I was raised by my mom. So, you know what I'm saying? She passed down everything that she had to me, and I'm trying to take that and keep it going. So, keep the genes going, man. The genes pool going.
Salute, bro.
So,
You'll be a good dad. I think it'll be dope on you.
I think you
Yeah.
ready. You should know what? Matter of fact, we should get you a project.
Nah, man.
No,
I'm
listen.
straight.
We're gonna give you an egg. We're gonna give you an egg to walk around with for a week.
Oh, an egg.
You ever did the egg
We're gonna give you an
experiment?
egg.
I had
did
a
that in
bag
high
of
school,
flour.
man.
Bag of flour.
Good.
I had a bag of flour.
Hey,
My school had an actual dog. It was
Yeah.
weird. I'll tell y'all off there.
Yeah.
I want to say I appreciate y'all coming on, man.
Anytime.
Thank y'all for being good fathers. I hope that every father that this reaches, you know what I'm saying, they feel appreciated or they feel appreciative and they know that somebody is appreciating the fact that they're raising their children. So with that, we'll close the show out. Y'all have a nice day.
His birth. He's out.